And as the sun sets on the Aqueduct Grandstand, we had a beautiful day for racing, especially for a November 5th. Welcome, everybody, and good evening. Aqueduct Insider on our brand new set. I'm Maggie Wolfendale. The California Kid is back in action here in New York. Richard Bigliori. Mig, we're glad to have you back, but you had a great time out for the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah, no, it's great to be back, and great to be back with this snazzy set we got here. It looks great, and it kind of get us off on the right foot. Worried about the traffic going home already, but it's good to be back at Aqueduct.
Yes, I'm sure you got to deal with traffic out there in California as well, as they're well known for their traffic problems, but we also had some traffic problems in the Breeders' Cup as well, and you had some very strong opinions about our Breeders' Cup Classic. We'll check it out here once again. Jason and I try to do our best here on this coast, but you had the bird's eye view looking into the Breeders' Cup Classic. As we check out the stretch run once again, we've seen BAYERN lead from the gate, with Toast of New York chasing him, and California Chrome there in third. Richie, they made it close. What did you think?
Well, let's just look at this and enjoy the horse race, because you get three very good horses giving their best. BAYERN did not want to lose. He refused to get past. Toast of New York took a lot of different shots at him. California Chrome, who was wide every step of the way, took it to him through the stretch. So you had three very good horses in a $5 million race coming down to the wire, but more the start told the tale. And I think that's what we got to look at, and we can get into the kind of the thought process behind it. We're going to keep an eye on, I believe it is number 7.
Yeah, with the blue shadow roll with Martin Garcia up.
Yeah, and when he broke hard to the left like that, Martin's initial response was to grab him, and you're going to watch, he's going to grab him, and then I think in the same millisecond he thought, well, I already got the drop on the speed, go ahead. And the way he really body slammed Shared Belief and completely took Moreno out of his game, I thought it had a profound impact on the race, and that's why, if I was a steward, I would have voted to disqualify him.
And I'm sure a lot of people were kind of up in arms about the final call, as we saw, and not even giving a press conference. How do you think they dealt with that thereafter?
Well, I think they would have been better off saying that we don't take horses down for gate infractions. The way they worded it was, although he bothered the horses to his inside, we didn't feel it had an effect on the outcome of the race. That's an absurdity. So I think their explanation kind of lent to the bad taste in everybody's mouth. All right, you didn't make a change, it's fine, but then call it what it is. We do not take horses down for gate infractions, and don't make some kind of excuse. It came off poor, I thought.
Well, one guy that didn't have a poor weekend or have a bad taste in his mouth was Chad Brown, for any reason for that matter, as he picked up 3 Breeders' Cup wins, totaling and amassing 5 wins altogether for his what is short career thus far, Richie. And we are checking out the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies turf with the powerhouse Lady Eli.
Lady Eli is something special. What a turn of foot. I was so impressed with the way she finished here. And she ran a 2nd and a 5th faster than the boys. And she sprinted home. And to me, she was doing her best Goldacover light imitation. And to me, she should be 2-year-old filly champion off of that performance.
I think a lot of people would agree with you there, Richie, as we will check out, once again, another turf race that Chad Brown won with a mare now. A New York bred, nonetheless. Picking up a win here was Day at the Spa. She stretched her speed 1.25 miles.
She did, and Chad's other filly, Stephanie's Kitten, comes along to get 2nd. I was down in the jockey's room right after this race, and I pulled Javier Castellano on the side, and I said, the Arcadia police are waiting outside the jockey's room. They want to talk to you about theft in a $2 million race. I mean, he absolutely got to control the race, and I didn't think she'd get 1.25 miles, but basically all she had to do was sprint home. Another great job by Chad, and a great ride by Javier Castellano.
Yeah, really. Speaking of great rides, we saw one given to another Chad horse by Joel Rosario. Bobby's Kitten on the downhill 6.5, stealing the turf sprint here for the Breeders' Cup.
He's last. He just angled out to the clear. He's not even in the picture yet. And he came home about as fast as I've ever seen. He just entered the picture, the red and white on the far outside. He's got no chance to get up, does he?
No, not that I thought. I said, wait, who is that?
And he got up. I mean, this was about as electrifying a late run as I've ever seen. And the hill will lend itself to a horse closing, but I don't know that I've ever seen one quite that dramatic. And this is what I think Bobby's Kitten always wanted. to sprint, get back, get off the bridle, settle, and come with that run instead of pulling and using up his energy in the race. That was a tremendous performance.
Yeah, I think Chad's decided, well, I think we'll keep Bobby's kitten sprinting on the turf from here on out. But a guy who has always been good with his turf sprinters is Wesley Ward. And Richie, he ran second and third in there. Looked as though No Nay Never was home free. But we did see his other horse in there as well, flying with Bobby's kitten, undrafted. And what a weekend for him as well.
Yeah, I mean, Wesley had a tremendous weekend. He wasn't there. I mean, he absolutely, you know, chose to be at his son's track meet, but he absolutely had a great weekend, and he finally broke through in the Breeders' Cup. And I like when people, you know, they say, well, he doesn't win at the Breeders' Cup. Well, he put that to bed, and he owns Judy the Beauty, who won the Filly and Mare Sprint.
That's what I said, exactly. She was just denied last year by Groupie Doll, and it was good to see her break through. She is a gritty, gritty mare.
She really is, and a great bit of race riding by Mike Smith there. When he floated out, he herded the second-place finisher, Lucky My Way, just enough without going over the line, and that's what good race riding's about, riding on that line without actually going over it.
Yeah, it really is. Well, we did see some good riding here today, Richie, as we will check out our first recap, and that was race number 5. It was a claiming 35, a non-2 life for the fillies and mares going a mile on the turf. We will send it up to John Embrial for the call.
Juju Beans away well from the inside. Azatique is up close. Fireship on the outside. It's Academy Performance. Fireship gets a narrow lead over Azatique. Academy Performance. Juju Beans is down at the rail as Sister in Arms now moves up a bit. Then it's Beauty Surprise, widest of all Until There Was You. Farther back, it's Barrier to Entry, and More Than a Warning trails the field in 9th. They're heading for the backstretch. Azatique leads here by a neck. Fireship on the outside is second. Then it's the trio of Academy Performance, Sister in Arms, and Juju Beans down at the rail. A break of 2.5 to Beauty Surprise. Now Until There Was You goes ahead of Beauty Surprise. A break of 3, More Than a Warning, and Barrier to Entry is the trailer. Azatique, Fireship. They continue to race 1-2, the quarter 24 and 4, the half mile in 50 and 3/5 seconds. It is Azatique on the lead here. Azatique 3/4 of a length. Fireship in second. Academy Performance on the outside is third. Down at the rail is Juju Beans. Then it's Sister in Arms racing in 5th. Until There Was You. Beauty Surprise looking for a way through now as the field comes off the turn and enters the stretch. And it's Azatique the leader. Azatique by 2. Academy Performance. Fireship. Juju Beans. Barrier to Entry is gaining ground down at the rail. It's Azatique trying to hold off Barrier to Entry. Azatique a length. Barrier to Entry on the inside. They come down for the wire. Azatique holds half length over big long shot Barrier to Entry. More Than a Warning. Close to get third.
Well, Azatique had rarely seen the front end, at least coming out of the gate here, Richie. But the bug boy, Israel Rodriguez, giving her a front running well-timed ride.
A well-timed ride, and I love the way this kid finishes. He does not look like an apprentice finishing, and I like the way he walked the dog. He really controlled the pace. He gave her a terrific ride. His agent, Jose Morales Jr., doing a terrific job, and I pointed this kid out about a month and a half ago on this show, saying how I think this kid's going to have a really great winter. And let's give Sammy Jimenez on the runner-up some love here. She was a little tough to handle the first part, trying to get out, got her to settle, saved every inch of ground, and did a really good job to get up for second.
And a lot of times that's really where you want to be on this turf course, as we will take a look at another turf race. It was race number 7, an allowance for fillies and mares 3 and up, going a mile once again. Here's Johnny I.
And they're off. Fade to Black. She's a heartbreaker. And Little Honey Badger. She's a heartbreaker. Comes away with the lead. Little Honey Badger in second. Fade to Black down on the inside in third. With Flamingo Lane next in fourth. Striking Style is fifth. On the outside is Indian Starlight in sixth. Then the gray Funny Money at the rail. It's Miss Melinda. And in between horses, Abbey Street. Gap of 4 to Evidently, who trails the field in 10th. The first quarter was run in 25 and 1/5 seconds, so a slow pace here. And it's She's a Heartbreaker, the leader. She's a Heartbreaker by 3/4 of a length. Little Honey Badger on the outside in second. Fade to Black down at the rail. And right alongside Fade to Black is Flamingo Lane. Then Striking Style racing in fifth, 4 lengths from the front. Indian Starlight is on the outside. And Miss Melinda down at the rail, running in 7th. Abbey Street is 8th. Then Funny Money, big break back to Evidently, who continues to trail the half in 50 and 4/5 seconds. She's a Heartbreaker, takes the field into the far turn. She's a Heartbreaker with the lead. Little Honey Badger and Flamingo Lane, 2nd and 3rd. Fade to Black asks for a little bit more down towards the rail. Then Striking Style, Indian Starlight on the extreme outside, 3/4 in 1:15 and 4. She's a Heartbreaker. Here's Flamingo Lane, and splitting those two, here's Fade to Black. Fade to Black up to grab the lead, and now Striking Style is kicking in on the outside. Fade to Black, Flamingo Lane. It's between those two as they race for the wire. It's a photo finish. Head bob. Could go either way. Fade to Black or Flamingo Lane.
Meg, that was one of our closest finishes that we saw here today. A bit of rider swapping, if you will, because Junior Alvarado, the winner on Fade to Black, actually rode Flamingo Lane up until this point. Irad Ortiz, and really gave this one a great ride.
Yeah, he really did. Junior Alvarado did everything right, cut every corner, came out from behind horses, and honestly, that ground save, the ride that he gave, was the difference in victory or defeat.
And it really was, and I actually got a chance to catch up with Junior after his win in today's 7th. Rider of today's co-featured 7th race, Fade to Black with Junior Alvarado aboard. Junior, some good race riding going on. You're lucky you had your head down at the wire.
Yeah, you know, like, she just play horses, you know, and for a second I thought, you know, I got it easy, you know, but as soon as she, you know, like, put her head on front, she, like, just start waiting, put the head up, start waiting. I'm like, come on, man. But, I mean, you know, as soon as she felt the horse outside coming next to her, you know, she gave me that little extra, you know. But, I mean, she's definitely better than that. She just, like, still hasn't put it completely together 100%.
Well, you did a good job keeping her focused at the right time. But you ride a nice horse tomorrow in the A other than for John Sheriff's. One you haven't been on before, but Cool Samurai, 3-1 on the morning line. How do you feel about him?
You know, we've been trying to get in the horse, like, a while ago, you know, after he run first time, you know. My agent and me, we tried to get on, tried to work the horse in the morning to see if we got more chance to get on. But, I mean, definitely, you know, we're better this time. You know, we're winning a good race tomorrow, and hopefully, you know, we can get it done, too.
Great. Well, Junior, good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks. Well, Junior excited about Cool Samurai, who we will preview a little bit later on in this Aqueduct Insider. But we're up for our first break here at the Big A on our new set. Richard Migliori and I will be back in a few minutes as you check out the New York City skyline. Well, we hope everybody had a great day at the races. I know Richie and I did, as he's back here in New York, where we like to have him. Welcome everybody back to Aqueduct Insider on our lovely new set. One of many things has got a revamping here at the Big A, but we're going right back into the racing action here on tonight's show. It's the 8th race. It was an A other than for New York bred fillies and mares on the main track, 6 furlongs. John Imbrial has the call for you.
Valeria from the extreme outside. Henry's Gal now moves up to challenge. It's Henry's Gal with the lead. La Bella Valeria races in 2nd. Jitney's at the rail in 3rd, always in stilettos. And Blithely on the extreme outside. Then Penny Mine, who's racing in 6th. Pearls for Girls is in 7th, and it's a gap of 3 to Spin It to Win It. The trailer in 8th. Henry's Gal with a head in front of La Bella Valeria through an opening quarter mile in 22 and 1/5 seconds. Those two have almost 4 lengths on Blithely in 3rd. It's another 3.5 to Jitney in 4th, 2.5 more to Penny Mine. Spin It to Win It, getting some ground on the outside. Then Pearls for Girls, always in stilettos, is the trailer. The field is at the top of the stretch. La Bella Valeria now takes the lead from Henry's Gal. Blithely is on the move, and down at the rail, here comes Jitney as they pass the 8th pole. La Bella Valeria, Blithely, and Spin It to Win It is kicking in out in the middle of the track. Blithely on the inside is La Bella Valeria, then Spin It to Win It. Blithely got it by a long neck. La Bella Valeria was 2nd, and Spin It to Win It
Well, Meg, Blithely is now 3 for 5 in your young career, never being worse than second here for Mark Henning.
Now, what a nice filly. She's never really done anything wrong, and she gets an absolutely perfect trip under Javier Castellano. And this is the beauty of New York racing, Maggie. You've got the rider that was given the Shoemaker Award, Johnny Velasquez, in front. The guy that was runner-up, Javier Castellano, leading rider in the country, slugging it out on an 8th race on a Wednesday at the Big A. It's just the best of the best.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that. But we also have a little more extra for you as we'll check out the Spectacular 6 here for the races that you've missed out on.
And they're at the top of the stretch. Still, here's Delicious, the one to catch. Here's Delicious in front and drifting out now. Here's Delicious drifting out in the stretch. So Bridgetta will come through on the inside of Here's Delicious, and Bridget Maloney is putting in a late run on the outside. Now a 16th to the wire. Here's Delicious holding on to the lead. Then Bridgetta and Bridget Maloney. Here's Delicious wins it by 2 at the end. Close for second, Bridget Maloney or Bridgetta. 3/4 went in 1:12. And it's Byron's Pop who comes away with the lead here. And Byron's Pop has built a 4-length lead over Robert Noble. Then Tappin' Mojo and SEAL Team 6. They come down for the finish line. It's Byron's Pop, and he's got it won. Byron's Pop. Almost 3 lengths at the end. Robert Noble was second over Tappin' Mojo. SEAL Team 6 finished 4th. Solly's Mischief in 3rd. 3/4 in 13 and 4. It's Poliziano, shot to win, trying to come back again down at the rail. And here's Solly's Mischief on the outside. So it's 3 of them across, and now a 16th to the wire. And now it's between Poliziano and Solly's Mischief. They come down for the wire. Poliziano wins it by a length. Solly's Mischief was second. Photo for 3rd for the late closing best play and shot to win. And Saluda has a 2-length lead. She's Marby, Perfect Freud on the outside. Saluda in between horses. It's She's Marby on the outside. It's Perfect Freud who's all out. 3 of them across the track with a 16th to the wire. Saluda, Perfect Freud, She's Marby. They come down for the finish, and it's a photo finish between She's Marby and Saluda. The favor as they come off the turn and enter the stretch, the half in 46 and 1. Channel Boy on the outside. It's Kid Blast. Son of Dixie continues to gain ground. Their Mach 7 is there as they come down for the 16th pole. It's Kid Blast and Mach 7, Son of Dixie towards the rail. They come for the wire. It's Kid Blast. Looked like he got it in a photo there with long shot Mach 7. Go, Joey. Spark to Ignite has the lead. Hush, Hush, Mush, Mush continues to gain on the outside, and Wake Up and Go is going quick as the ball down at the rail. Wake Up and Go in front. Hush, Hush, Mush, Mush is second. Wake Up and Go with that big move at the 8th pole wins by 4 lengths. Hush, Hush, Mush, Mush was second, and it was close for 3rd between Celebrate We Will.
Wake Up and Go finally puts it all together and gets the win, and actually capping off a pretty nice day for Junior Alvarado. He was one of 3 riders that picked up 2 wins here today. One of them none other than Javier Castellano as well. And going back to the 4th race today, another very tight finish between 3 fillies in that maiden claimer for New York breds. And once again, Javier and Johnny riding to the wire.
You'd have thought this was a Breeders' Cup race. As hard as these 2 guys run it, I mean, these are maiden 40 claiming New York breds who put on quite a show. And She's Marby splitting horses here under Javier Castellano was so game because it wasn't the most comfortable position to be in, but she kept fighting for it. Johnny goes left-handed on the inside. And these are 2 of the best riders in the entire country pulling out all stops once again on a Wednesday, and it was just a head bob up and down.
Yeah, it really was. There's the photo. Wow, it's whiskers there, Richie, as unfortunately they will go south, but we'll have some great riders up here. The Ortiz boys come to mind.
Yeah, it's going to be a terrific colony. You got the Ortiz boys, you got Israel Rodriguez, an apprentice to watch. You've got Manny Franco, and so many more. And we'd be remiss not to mention Mike Luzzy, who unfortunately was injured Sunday evening in the paddock. A filly flipped over and landed on him. He is being moved today from Jamaica Hospital to North Shore, and I'm sure Mike would like to hear from all the people out there and show some support and that everybody's thinking about him. I know I am.
Definitely, Richie. Sad, sad news. I love the fact, though, that he has his family around him and he has so many friends and fans here on the New York racing circuit that I know are supporting him. But speaking of jockeys, let's check in with the jockey standings as of now, as we see Junior Alvarado pulling ahead, though tied with Manny, who did lead throughout the weekend of opening weekend here at the Big A.
Yeah, they're both good young riders, and they both took advantage of some of the other guys being away for the weekend, but they can get it done. And Junior Alvarado delivered 2 really nice rides on the turf today. Manny Franco, another young, talented kid.
Well, we see pretty similar kind of trainer standings as far as the Big A is concerned. David Jacobson leads all with 4, and everybody else tied with 2.
Yeah, but nice to see Bernardo Callejas up there. He won a race today with Kid Blast, and a guy that's a talented horseman, just needs an opportunity.
Yes, he does, and very nice guy as well. Some claims as well of the first race. Bergetta, shake for 2, Poliziano. That one's been traded around quite a bit. Dave Canizzo picking him up in a big shake there in the 4th.
Yeah, for She's Marvy, who got the job done. Now, she doesn't have that maiden condition, but Steve Caceres, he does a good job when he claims a horse.
He really does. He's one of the best first off the claim trainers. We'll be looking for She's Marvy for the Stevie K stable coming up here at the Big A. But we'll see you back on the other side of this break for Aqueduct Insider. Well, it's a lot darker in the Aqueduct paddock as of now as compared to when I'm out there. Can't say I could look at a horse very well right now, but thankfully I'm in the new and improved Aqueduct Studios. But make sure you come out this Monday. It's Veterans Appreciation Day, the day before Veterans Day. Gates opening at 11. As usual, the first race goes off at 12:20. Free admission to Long Shots, a new and improved bar. Great place to watch racing and wager, and a $2 wagering voucher with the purchase of any program. Make sure you have your military ID to reap the benefits of Veterans Appreciation Day. Welcome back to Aqueduct Insider. Maggie Wolfendale alongside Richard the Mig Migliori. Richie, we have some great races, a very competitive duo of races to preview here on tonight's show. First one being the 7th race, which is a starter allowance going 6.5 furlongs for 3-year-olds and upward. We're going to check in with a last out maiden winner coming out of the Dominic Schettino barn. He earned a 97 Beyer speed figure, Mig, for this effort as he drew away and won by 5.
Well, this was a huge effort. He ran a mile in 1:34.2. Now, I know the track was fast, but he ran the Beyer figure to back it up. Dominic Schettino's barn has really come to life. Another win today with Fade to Black. Now he cuts back to 6.5, and he responded so well at that 1 mile distance. Just question if he might not get swept off his feet a little bit turning back in the sprint.
Well, one that has a lot of experience running long is Cost Effective. We're going to check out his last win, which came in June at Belmont. This was for 2 trainers ago. Tom Albatrani was claimed out of this race by David Jacobson, now with Tony Dutrow.
Yeah, and he hasn't really run back to that. Or I guess he has run similar races, just not as easy as Company. And he's going to have to bring his A game, I believe. Interesting, we get an apprentice there that's made some noise, Mike Ripfo, who's done some good and certainly going to be here for the winter.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing him, son of Timmy Ritvo and Kathy Ritvo, as we'll check out, wow, flashback 11-2 last year. This is John Silver winning pretty convincingly in a maiden New York bred 35. Haven't seen him in a long time. He came up with a fast fig, but what did he beat?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. It is a long time. We don't know what he beat. He did it fast. I think he possesses speed, which is hard for horses to come off a layup that possess speed because they run pretty much the whole race. But the fact that he's in for an allowance condition as opposed to claiming tag makes you feel like they're trying to protect him, that they like the horse.
Yeah, they do. Going out for George Weaver, coming off that long layoff. We'll be sure to check him out in the paddock for tomorrow's 7th race. But moving on to the 8th, it's an allowance, 7 furlongs for 3-year-olds and upward. Some hard, gritty veterans and some lightly raced horses. First, we'll check out Diker Beach, who is coupled in the wagering with MJ Plus for David Jacobson. Going back to Diker Beach's last win in August. He's a bit camera shy, to say the least, though.
Yeah, he really is. 2 wins, 10 seconds. Those horses are horses I tend to shy away from. I want a horse that has a killer instinct that wins more of those than he runs second, but he certainly ran well here, but that was 5 starts ago.
Yeah, and one that definitely does have that killer instinct, as I will say Decker Beach had sloppy tracks in his last 3, is this guy here. Apex. He's done amazing things, or I should say his trainer, Dennis Lallman, has done amazing things with this horse. He's run some fast races. He might be on the cheaper side, but looking at the speed figures, he can hang.
Yeah, and Dennis Lallman does a great job. I mean, he's only had 9 starters with 3 wins, and he's been that way for the last several years, where he just makes them count, and he knocks out a good living that way because he owns and trains them.
He really does. We saw MJ Plus running into second there, comes off a win at Parks. Cool Samurai, the younger of the crew. He was coming off a 7th-month layoff here where he finished 3rd at beautiful Belmont.
Yeah, and this is Junior Alvarado picks up the ride here. Rajiv Maharaj rode him last time. And John Sheriff's horses, you know, they've kind of been hit or miss this year. And I felt like maybe he was doing the right thing, keeping some of his horses here at Aqueduct. So it'll be interesting to see. He gets an advantageous outside post going 7/8 of a mile.
Yeah, and he does cut back in distance. And he ran behind some decent horses in Encryption and Mosler last time out. But a guy that has, I'm sure, a few ideas and opinions about tomorrow's card is our own Andy Serling. Let's see who he likes tomorrow.
On Thursday's card, and last year when trainer John Sheriffs of Zenyatta fame came to New York, he runs his horse sparingly. He didn't have a lot of success early, but as we got into late the Belmont and Aqueduct, his horses were running very well. Well, the same thing seems to be happening again in 2014. And he's got a horse, the 8 Cool Samurai, in that 8th race, and I've been waiting to bet on. Cool Samurai showed some promise, ran very well, actually, in the fall here in his debut last year. Came back in a race that featured absolutely no pace and a couple of nice horses, and he ran well to be 3rd going a mile. Well, frankly, I'm not sure he's not better at the 7 furlongs of Thursday's race. He's going to get some pace to run at, and he's got a perfect outside post. To me, in the 8th race on Thursday, it's all about Cool Samurai as we head up to Richie and Maggie.
Well, that's another person that likes Cool Samurai tomorrow. But Richie, you have a great opinion of Breeders' Cup races. Which was your favorite that you like to watch most?
I mean, there were some tremendous performances, but for me, it was Main Sequence for a number of reasons. He stayed undefeated on the year, 4 Grade 1s. And I couldn't help but get past thinking about Johnny Velasquez a year earlier. He's in the hospital, literally fighting for his life. Now, unfortunately, he picked up the mount because Rajiv Maharaj was injured, and Rajiv did such great work with Main Sequence. But I thought the way he won the race, he's not a horse that's going to win by a lot because he waits on horses. To me, if I had a vote, he'd be my vote for Horse of the Year. What about you? Who would you vote for?
I love this horse. I absolutely adore him. But it pains me to say that I actually think BAYERN deserves a mention in Horse of the Year. I mean, he's traveled to 8 different racetracks. He's had a heck of a campaign for 2014. He's come back with 6 wins, which included the Breeders' Cup Classic under some, dysfunctional circumstances as far as controversial circumstances as far as the start is concerned. But it'll be an interesting race to see who is Horse of the Year. But we have races, as always, here back at the Big A tomorrow. We will see you, and thanks for joining us here on Aqueduct Insider. For Richard Migliore, I'm Maggie Wolfendale. Have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.